kicking off a new season.
All right, let's do it all over again.
Phoenix Rising are ready to get back to work after capturing the 2023 USL Cup.
Oh, no! Phoenix wins it! Their first championship crown!
While some familiar faces are back on the pitch in 2024,
obviously we lost a couple of very good players.
There are quite a few changes in the new year, including a new head coach.
It's something that I feel I've prepared for a lot over the course of the years.
But one thing that's never changed is one of the best fan bases in the USL.
It's amazing. We really do have the best fans in the league, and they've been supporting us through thick and thin throughout the whole year.
So stick with us as Phoenix Rising begin their defense of the USL Championship title.
All right, we welcome you to this AZ Family Sports Special, Rising Up, the 2024 season preview. I'm Mark McClune, joined by Elliot Polikoff.
Yeah, very exciting. We are looking ahead to the 2024 Phoenix Rising season as they defend their title in the USL Championship with some big changes to this year's roster, including a new head coach, some exciting young talent, and a few familiar faces returning for this new season.
All right, but first, let's take a look back at their improbable and incredible run throughout last year's playoffs.
The end of the 2023 regular season may not have been what many fans were hoping to see. Phoenix Rising winless in their last 5 matches, including 2 losses.
Even through all the adversity that we went through, we still had that belief the whole time, and we knew that it was coming.
Entering the playoffs as the 6th seed, they would have to win on the road to advance. Like a phoenix, rising up from its ashes. That's exactly what happened, working their way up the coast of California. First, it took 119 minutes in San Diego.
It's Formella! Formella scores! Formella scores! Formella scores! Phoenix leads!
Then up to Orange County, where it took 116 minutes.
It's in for Emil Cuejo, who's going to shoot, and he scores! More late playoff magic for Phoenix!
Finally taking down the top seed in Sacramento in the 92nd minute.
Oh, Cuejo wins the ball back. He can win it for Phoenix! Oh, my word! Emil Cuejo has only gone and done it again!
3 straight road playoff wins.
A lot of us were feeling all throughout the season that this was a special year. A lot of us were feeling that we were going to be champions.
There was just one more match to win, finishing the season back on the pitch where it began 8 months earlier, more than 2,100 miles away in Charleston, South Carolina.
Segmer's got their mechanic!
And of course, it wouldn't come easy on a cold, damp night. Rising defender John Stenberg found himself playing the hero after a week where he could barely get out of bed.
He got sick and was unable to train the entire week. We didn't travel with the team. We traveled them separately. He stayed in a different hotel room.
Trailing 1-0 in the final seconds of the game, Mo Traore sends a pass into the crowd in front of the Charleston goal, and Stenberg rises up to send home the game-tying goal.
Unreal!
And it was crunch time, the last 5-10 minutes, we still had that belief and we still went with everything. And then John came up big for us. So
playing to a 1-1 draw in regulation and extra time, it all came down to a shootout.
You get to penalty kicks and it's a coin flip, all intents and purposes.
Rising failing to score in their first 2 attempts while giving up 2 goals to Charleston.
There's so much belief in that stadium through the Charleston fans.
Phoenix once again with their backs against the wall, and once again rising to the occasion.
As I'm sitting there watching and I'm just kind of processing man, we got so close this time, and just trying to go through it all myself, I see the look on our players.
Renzo Zambrana, Erickson Gallardo, and Manuel Arteaga putting away the goals for Phoenix, while Charleston failed to convert their next 3 attempts. Clinging to a 3-2 lead, it all came down to one final kick. Charleston's Derek Dodson lining up against goalkeeper Rocco Rios Novo for Phoenix.
Come on, Novo.
Derek Dodson. Oh, no! Phoenix wins it! Their first championship crown!
Finally get it done!
Our players they knew it all along, that there was only one way they were coming out of this thing. And whether that was in San Diego at the beginning of the playoff run or was that in Charleston when we were down 2-0 in penalty kicks, that belief was what got us over the top.
And when you look back at it, to win a championship in the fashion we did is probably the best way, like you said, movie script-wise, you could write winning a championship, scoring goals last minute, penalty shootout.
We won the cup, we won the cup, ale, ale, ale. We are from Phoenix.
All right, the shots of Daryl Dawson Brown celebrating, my favorite part of that. What an amazing look back. Who's ready for another ride? Now, the flip side of winning a championship at any level is your team becomes a target for others trying to improve their talent. That's exactly what happened with Rising since winning the title.
Yeah, a lot of people want a piece of what the Rising did. They've definitely got a big target on their back. Some key figures from that title run that aren't with the team heading into the 2024 season. The biggest piece moving on, of course, head coach Juan Guerra. After his first full season leading Phoenix, he is now an assistant coach with the Houston Dynamo in the MLS. Rising also lost their two leading goal scorers from last season in Danny Trejo and Manuel Arteaga. Both were in the race for USL Championship Golden Boot last season. Trejo now playing for Korona Kielce in the top professional league in Poland, and Arteaga was traded to the Tampa Bay Rowdies over the offseason. Another big loss, that's defender Carlos Harvey, who is now with Minnesota United in the MLS. So, yeah, definitely some big names that are gone, but a lot of key names from that title run. You mentioned Stenberg, the Cuejos, those are back for more, hoping to put that second star on the crest of Rising FC.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. You're the champion. Everybody raised your roster. Kevin Levert's in San Antonio as well this year, so that's something to watch and going to be a fun little rivalry when those two teams lock up. Now, normally, first-time head coaches aren't taking over championship defending teams, but that's exactly the case for Rising head coach Danny Stone, who's taking over for Guerra. It helps that he's been with the club since 2021, and the England native has plenty of connections to the Valley going back to his high school days. Our Nick King got a chance to talk to Stone about his rise through the coaching ranks.
All right, we have Phoenix Rising's newest head coach, Danny Stone. Danny, thanks for taking the time. Taking over a defending champion, a team that you were a part of, is that pressure? Is that privilege? How do you describe it?
I think first and foremost, it's a privilege, and I wouldn't describe it so much as pressure. I would describe it as an exciting challenge. The fact that we achieved what we did last year, for me, just adds further motivation into the task ahead and the job ahead of me. When you find out that Juan is leaving, is your first thought, I'm the guy for that job, I want that job? My first thought was to speak to Juan and wish him the congratulations and the future success that he deserves. So, I mean, Juan and I are very close and very pleased and very happy for him and his family. I think probably moving forwards from that point, certainly I felt that I was ready for this opportunity and ready to fill that role. It's something that I feel I've prepared for a lot over the course of the years. Philosophically, strategically, how different, how similar might things look on the pitch this season compared to last? We have a squad of players that we have built as an organisation to perform and to play in a certain style. So without going too far in depth to that, there'll be a similar philosophy and hopefully some re-emphasis of some things and I would hope some improvement in certain areas that I feel I can put my flavour into the team and add my personality and what I see as a coach. And I think this is cool. Your family moved to the States when you were in high school. Yes. And you came here. Yeah, my dad was working in the entertainment business in Las Vegas. So at the time, we moved as a family to Tempe. And I played high school soccer at Corona del Sol. Were you destroying people? I hope I added to the team, let's put it that way. But it's a fun story for sure. And how life takes you in that full circle and brings you back to a place where I still have some very good friends and some people that I met more than 25 years ago now, who now live within 5 minutes of where I'm now living again. And it's certainly something that connects me to the city of Phoenix as well as to Phoenix Rising as a soccer club.
We got to track down his high school tape. Now, while it's his first head coaching job, Stone almost has a decade of professional coaching experience after playing professionally in England and working with youth academies in the United States. He became an assistant coach with Colorado Rapids and MLS in 2015. He moved over to USL in 2019 as an assistant with Oklahoma City Energy FC before his arrival with Phoenix Rising in 2021. Now he's got his first shot as a head coach taking over a championship team.
Yeah, not a bad situation for Danny to step into. Another familiar face taking on a new role with Phoenix Rising this season, Darnell King. After 12 years as a professional soccer player, the last 4 of them here with Phoenix Rising, he's moving into a coaching role in 2024. He started the process of earning his coaching license last season. He even was attending classes via Zoom during the week leading up to the 2023 final match in Charleston.
Coaching was never really on the mind, but as you go through this career, you run into different opportunities and you meet a lot of different people, and you start to gain these qualities that may lead into that path. So for me, it was it was an opportunity that I took. Obviously, I love the game so much that I would play it for the rest of my life if I could.
Still ahead.
The star that goes above our crest now, there's so much pride, and it's not just about the group from last year, right?
Sitting down with Phoenix Rising team president Bobby Dooley on the ever-evolving effort to manage the team and how he's setting his goals even higher after winning the championship. Plus, living a dream.
And there it is! Jose Hernandez scores for Phoenix Rising!
On any given home game, I'm getting anywhere from, 30 to 50 people who want to come out and watch.
Local guy Jose Hernandez on what it means to play for his hometown team.
It's total chaos. I love the smoke. I love it when they throw beer around, and I love it when everyone's yelling and screaming. It's like a massive mosh pit over here.
It is very different, but it's an awesome experience. Highly recommend it.
I think the songs are the best part. I mean, everybody sings along. Really creates a great atmosphere.
Everyone always asks, do they pay you to do this? Do they have you do this? And I'm like, no, we just do this for passion.
I think we help them out a lot. They're a lot better at home than away, so I think we really contribute to the wins.
And if you want to have a good time, if you got passion and you want to bring it, you sit out here in the South End.
One of the best fan sections you can find, the Banditos, out at 38th Street and Washington. And that crowd, it's the heartbeat of Phoenix Rising matches. And for a lucky few players, the Banditos might even come up with a song about them. That is the case for Jose Hernandez, who attended Maryvale High School and was raised here in Arizona. Often, more than a few of those Banditos, they were family and friends of Hernandez, who's now entering his second year with Rising FC. I sat down with the 27-year-old who is ready to take his game and the organization's reputation to another level.
Varela searching. Varela to the back post, headed back across, and there it is! Jose Hernandez scores for Phoenix Rising!
These last 3 months have been nothing but a dream.
Jose Hernandez says it took about 2 to 3 weeks for it to sink in that he and the rest of Rising did what they did in the way that they did it.
It was a movie, honestly. It's a script that I think even a lot of people wouldn't believe if you were to tell them this is how things are going to end.
But as Jose heads into year 2 with Rising FC, he feels like his journey with this team, this organization, it's just getting started.
Now you have that sense of guiding others, guiding guys that maybe were in your shoes the years previous. So it's a little bit more responsibility, but also a lot of motivation.
The chemistry seems like it's already pretty strong between the majority of you guys because you guys have that continuity. What has it been like kind of integrating some of those new players into the roster? I mean, obviously you have different backgrounds, different countries, different languages. I mean, what has that process been like so far?
The process has been pretty good. Again, we're fortunate enough to be able to recruit and bring in top talent every year, year in and year out. So that also comes with a responsibility on their end to integrate pretty quickly. And I think when you're a good soccer player and you're surrounded by more good soccer players, it's easy to integrate, it's easy to buy in, it's easy to understand what you're being asked to do.
Jose thinks this year's Rising FC team will once again bring the fireworks. But with high expectations comes the pressure to perform. In Jose's case, in front of countless people he grew up with.
How many people are showing up to Rising games to see Jose Hernandez play?
On any given home game, I'm getting anywhere from, 30 to 50 people who want to come out. And Bandidos specifically, a lot of them are from Maryville, so we come from the same area, which is always awesome. And not just with me, they're very supportive with everybody. I think for the majority of the squad, or at least a lot of the returners, they have personal songs, which is awesome. Yeah, they're the friggin' best.
Now, Jose just needs to learn the words to the song about him.
It definitely involves me being from here and being one of them and just being one of their own. I think it's the title.
Speaking of titles, that's the goal for Jose. Go back-to-back in 2024. But this time, Jose wants those playoff games to be played at 38th Street and Washington. And he has a message to the fans to help make that happen.
It's going to be a fun year. We're very excited to see you guys again, and I think showing up and just coming to the games, you guys are going to see what we're all about. We're going to be a fun team to watch. We're the defending champs, so come support us, and we're not going to let you guys down.
All right, when it comes to Phoenix Rising's roster, nobody knows players like Jose better than Bobby Dooley after being promoted from general manager to team president in January of 2023. He went out and led the organization to its first championship. I had a chance to sit down with Dooley to find out what it takes to lead this organization with a little help from former Diamondback pitcher Brandon McCarthy.
That exact group will never be together again, and it was great that we could finish, and we knew exactly when that was going to happen. We knew this was going to be our final practice, and we were happy it was our final practice. We knew it was going to be our final game together, and of course we were happy to be the final game. But that sense of it's over, it was a little bittersweet because you go through so much with a group and you don't want it to end. But there's no better way for it to end with raising the trophies. But this moment was really cool. Personally, my wife and kids made the trip out to Charleston with me, and then you see our players, our staff that had their families there as well, and then you had 300 plus fans that made the way on short notice. It was just really cool. That it meant so much to everyone that was there, that had been through it all for 10 months, that they wanted their family and their extended family to be a part of it. We have 14 guys coming back that won last year, and I think those guys that came in last year, I think they showed resilience. They showed that even if they didn't agree with some of the decisions that were made, they wished they were starting when they weren't. They always prepared, and they were always ready to go for when their opportunity presented itself.
What is the dynamic like between you and Brandon in putting this roster together?
And the mindset and the mentality and the makeup of an individual to stand in front of 50, 60,000 people and have the ball in your hand is a kind of pressure that I can't even imagine and can't even fathom. What Brandon has done since he's shifted out of the baseball world and he's got a passion and love for the sport of soccer is really helped kind of build out the infrastructure as an organization. There's a lot of change, there's a lot of turnover. The game's moving really fast. No matter who you are, whether you're an academy kid that just signed with us or you're someone that's played 10 years in Europe, everyone comes here at different levels with different needs. We need to make sure that everyone within this organization leaves here in a better spot than they came. And I think that's where Brandon's really helped us from a development perspective and making sure that we have the resources to give our players and coaches.
How does winning the championship change the feel walking into the doors at work and around a franchise?
I think there's a little bit of that validation, right? The players that we brought in, the way that we try to operate in the front office, the commitment our ownership group has had since the beginning. This is something we've always wanted. So I think there's the star that goes above our crest now. There's so much pride, and it's not just about the group from last year, right? It's about the players, the people in the front office that have been a part of this for the last 7 years. This was a culmination and a reflection of everyone that's ever worn the Phoenix Rising crest.
Coming up, a new look for a new season. The revamped kit for Phoenix Rising this year. And that's not all that's new.
He's averaging right around a goal a game, and if you're doing that, you can't have any complaints.
A new face on the Rising roster who fans should keep an eye on in 2024.
A new look for a new season for Phoenix Rising. The club unveiling their updated 2024 kits in front of a full house at the Marquee Theater in Tempe. They'll wear the red and black uniforms with gold accents celebrating their 2023 USL Championship title.
All right, if you look closely enough at those new jerseys, you might see a target squarely on their back, which every other USL team will be aiming for this season.
Yeah, and that's nothing really new for Phoenix Rising even before winning the USL title. I sat down with PHNX's Owen Evans to talk about how this team can build on their success in 2024 and how one of their newest additions can help them do that.
Look, it's always, from Rising's perspective, you mentioned that the target on the back there. They've always had that target on their back to an extent.
Sure.
They're one of the bigger teams in this league. They've always thrived off that to a degree.
What is the next step for Rising building off of a championship-winning season in your mind?
It's got to be, as you said, really playing some of those playoff games at home, right? They've won the league now. That's... You know, it's kind of checked that one off, and
Sure.
you think, where do you go from here? It is winning. It's lifting that cup at home, lifting it in front of that home crowd, and not having to rely on the fact that you have the 100, 200 fans that have had to travel across the country on a last-minute notice to try and get over to the East Coast and see you lift the trophy. You want to be able to do that with 9,000, 10,000 people in your home stadium. Now, they have lost some players who are pretty critical in there. You look at guys like Danny Trejo.
Sure.
You look at Manuel Arteaga. How are you going to try and replace those goals? And they've gone out there and tried to find ways of replacing them. But we're still going to have to wait and see quite how those new players gel in there, because it's not as simple as saying, well, who's the next Danny Trejo? Yeah. There isn't another Danny Trejo that's immediately available to you in USL Championship.
Is there anybody this year that you feel like might be the next Danny Trejo? Obviously, like we said, you can't substitute for Danny Trejo, but the best impersonation maybe of a Danny Trejo.
But if you're looking for goals, it's probably going to have to come from Remy Cabral, who's just joined on loan from Colorado Rapids. He's someone who, if you look at his goal-scoring record with Rapids 2 last year in MLS Next Pro, he's averaging right around a goal a game. And if you're doing that, you can't have any complaints whatsoever from a centre forward.
Obviously, a transition into a new coach this year with Danny Stone, but he's no stranger to Rising. What can fans expect in terms of similarities to Juan, and what might be a little bit different under Danny Stone?
I think he's, again, tactically, they're not going to be too dissimilar. We've had those conversations with him about what we're going to see differently. And yeah, there's a little bit more of an emphasis on maybe making the football a little bit more entertaining, right? Last season we had moments where, especially when you are focusing on possession and keeping possession, sometimes that can stall out. It gets a little bit dull then, because you get those moments where you're passing it around and passing it around and passing it around and trying to work out what are you actually going to do with it at the end of that. I know there's an attempt to maybe cut down on some of those moments, but it's only a slight tweak from that sense. So I think tactically, yeah, you're looking at someone who's very similar. Beyond that, it's someone, yeah, he's been around this club for a while now. He gets this club.
Sure.
He knows the fans. He knows the players. The players, they broadly like him.
Two great sports voices right there. And I just want to say I need to see Phoenix Rising have a home playoff game this season. I need this sports moment.
And that season opener against Birmingham, it can't get here soon enough. I can't wait for the Banditos to be filling up 38th in Washington. It's going to be an electric atmosphere for that opener and then all season long.
All right, if you can't get out there for that opener, you can watch Phoenix Rising all season long right here on 3TV and AZ Family Sports, and keep up with the team every night right here on the Extra Point at 10:35 on 3TV.
Thanks for joining us. Todos Rojos.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Family. Watch us live wherever you are. Our mobile and streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. Subscribe on YouTube for live breaking news and video on demand.